Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. We have a really big shoe for you tonight. In fact, it's a Super Bowl special shoe. And, you know, we can't have anything super in here unless the person who's standing right next to me here, well, not right next to me, but, you know, at a safe distance across the studio. If he wasn't here, it would not be super.
Safe distance.
There you go. Well, you know, these days I have to, you know, you have to say
safe.
that. Oh, that's good to know. Girls, sit down, get ready. The very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Yeah, baby. I'm here. Okay. Super Bowl preview. We're going to talk football all night. Well, not really. But
well, we're going to talk a lot
we're going
of
to talk
football.
about Tom Brady.
Going to be talking about Tom Brady. We're going to have our friend Teraak from a planet 44 light years from Earth is going to be calling in, and he's going to predict the Super Bowl score. That's why we're doing a special live show tonight.
Actually, he called in about 2 years ago, but seeing how many light years it is away.
It took a while for the message to get here,
that's
right?
So it should be a
wait a minute.
Stepping on his intro. Go ahead.
How fast does the radio signal for his call travel?
Well, I didn't really do the math on the light years.
Yeah, I obviously didn't. Sorry, didn't mean to step on my intro.
Wow.
See, he's Mr.
Wow.
He's Mr. Math.
Wow, talk about getting the show off.
Remember that show, Meet Mr. Wizard?
Yeah. Now it's Mr.
You know, I'd be sitting there eating my Cheerios and going, I didn't know how we made.
Are you saying
that
I rhyme with trick or brick?
Wow. If you're saying the word prick, we can use it on the air, but only if it's used as a verb.
Like I pricked my finger.
Right. One. So anyway, that voice you hear in your head is actually
Mr. Mathematics.
Commander Cobra. Coco on the streets. He's up there in the bunker. I hope the doors are locked. Up there in his compound.
We are secure.
Way up north there.
Are we eating MREs in the bunker, or are you having pizza delivered?
No. It's a full cuisine menu up here.
Full cuisine. I knew it.
Oh. He's not letting you up off the floor there. We got off to a rocky start there. And it's supposed to be so much fun. We're doing the Super Bowl show. And
maybe it'll warm up during the rest of the show, but right now it is a little bit chilly in here.
And pick on you,
It's just like the Super Bowl, hoopla got off to a rocky start.
That's right, yeah. Yep. That's true.
Nobody's talking about the teams.
No, well, I know. And in a way, I get a feeling the team's kind of like that. But anyway, there's always some kind of drama, and that's ready for another show.
Don't act like a urinating insect is all I have to say for this show.
Yeah, right. Come on, Mac. You didn't get that?
A urinating insect?
Yeah.
No. What's that mean?
A pissant. Not to be confused with a croissant.
You guys I don't even follow this.
Do we have to go back and start the show all over again?
And you're talking about all the pageantry that's surrounding the big game, the Super Bowl.
We talked about that.
That doesn't even have anything to do with
maybe
the
Super
Bowl.
Be.
And then I make what I think is one of the best metaphors I could possibly do.
It was great. I got it.
I know, but
I got it.
Okay, but we did not understanding.
No, one of us understood.
Coco.
One of us didn't understand.
No, what you're not understanding is that discussion we had was off air.
And I understand that, but we talked. You just mentioned the pageantry around the big game, the Super Bowl, and not talking about the Super Bowl. So everyone on the planet pretty much probably got the urinating insect reference.
Yeah, since that was the top story, but I don't know.
One, I rely on you at times like this. Should we go back and start the show again?
No, this is great. This is great. This is going to blow everybody's mind.
It's gold.
Let's make this. Let's make this like Clint Eastwood. One take. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. See,
I'm glad it's not.
That was also off air.
I'm glad it's not the special.
No, it wasn't.
As the special Olympic show, and we were talking about who's your best figure skater.
Yeah, and what's her relative dying of, right? And what's that? Talk about a bit. Anyway, hey, listen. So we're going to also have Switchblade Steve. We'll be on talking about a classic UFO case, and also Emily M. is joining us tonight. She will also be talking about a classic UFO case. Now, okay, and in addition to all that fun, Gary Olsen author who's coming on to talk about his book, 15 Geniuses of the Silver Screen.
I'm looking forward to that book. It's out already,
Is
right?
that the name of the book?
The book, Mac, I believe the
15
book that you
Geniuses
assigned us to
Behind the
read
Lens.
is 15 Geniuses Behind the Lens.
Okay, all right.
Not Jesus.
I predict I'm going to get that all wrong later on in the show. I just have that feeling. I should go to the racetrack.
And it really, it's sad because you are the most distinguished by academic credentials in this subject area.
That's right. And a film school graduate.
And it's sad. It's sad. Okay, well, I must be a sad little clown. And talking about that, Dribbles is going to be on with us
Dribbles.
later on.
Just what we need.
Yes, right. We need
Talk about when the clown cries, an allusion to another movie.
I can tell you something. I think he's going to be hilarious tonight. How about that? I think we're going to be laughing so hard, I predict.
Laughing like Pilaci.
Anyway. Was he the clown that cried?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What did he cry over? Was it over a woman?
Always.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah. Great song.
That's
Tears
the,
of a Clown, man.
That's the opera that made the Capone cry when he saw the opera live.
That's right.
Oh, what? Al Capone?
Right.
Yeah, Al Capone cried when.
What would we do without Cobra? He comes in at the beginning of the show about a math
He's got his finger on all that
and then he's talking
trivia.
about the opera and what Al Capone was crying at. I think he's really 2 or 3 people, you know?
That's what some of the doctors have said.
They also portray that scene in the Untouchables movie.
Little Dr. Humor there. Who?
Yes.
Who did?
The Capone scene in the opera watching Pilaci.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who played Capone in that? Was that Robert De Niro playing Capone?
That was good. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And 007, wasn't he like just a cop? An Irish cop on the street?
That's right. Teaching Elliot Ness a lesson. Elliot Ness.
Right.
Whatever.
And that was Kevin Costner.
Yeah. I didn't he's not a good Elliot Ness. I always thought Robert Stack was a good Elliot Ness.
Robert Stack was great.
Yep.
On TV. Yeah. I'll have to tell you some stories about Kevin Costner off air that I heard in the biz. Anyway.
You caught him dancing with wolves one day?
No, he should only be that lucky, frankly. No, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, so listen, why don't we do, is that it? Is that it for the show? Is that
I don't know.
fun?
Cobra was taking us down some direction.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, about opera.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
No, that was me that did the opera thing.
You know how much we like opera. Does anyone ever stay asleep?
I like
till the very
Gilbert.
end
I
of
like
it?
Gilbert and Sullivan type opera.
Oh, that's even worse.
What do they call that?
TMI. I know what they call it in some parts of town. It's a date.
Was it Pirates of Penzance?
Yeah, that's.
Loved it.
Another movie that Matthew Bodine was in.
Boy, we're gonna.
There's a name I haven't heard. He's like the guy you call when you can't get like the other 4 guys to show up.
When you can't get Mark Wahlberg or something.
Have you heard that before? Anyway, so why don't we take a commercial break now and let the fun begin, right?
All right. Okay. I'm juiced up.
Pull the strings, Mac. Pull the strings.
Okay. Wow.
I'm pumped up on coffee and everything else. I'm ready to go.
And I'm high on life, so
I know
here we go. Let's start to put this thing in gear and go. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Mill Track Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. In the studio with us tonight, gracing us with his appearance again, the very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Ta-da! Hello, Mac.
There you go, girls. He's all revved up because we're actually he's doing a little dance. He's doing a Tom Brady dance. He can't really dance very well. You would think somebody of your ethnic persuasion could dance.
You would think.
But I guess
that's what they said worse about my ethnic persuasion, but you kind of put it nicely.
But usually you can dance. You were just dancing like an Irish guy there.
A white man can dance.
Wasn't pretty.
Like
anyway,
that video you sent me.
The video
that was good.
Okay, all right. I sent him. I'll just say real quick. Go on YouTube and look up Robert Randolph and the Family Band.
They were great.
Okay, incredible. On Austin City Limits. It was that was 20 years ago. It's called "What You Come Here to Do." Isn't it the most unbelievable performance you've ever seen?
Yeah,
just incredible. And they're up for a Grammy this year. They might have won the Grammys with this past weekend, but they're spectacular. And the guy who's in their band now, they have a white guitar player who plays along with him, and he's Dwayne Allman's kid.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think his name is Almond or something like that. But so they're a great band. Robert Randolph and the Family Band. It's
well, we got Derek Trucks' kid, and we got
yeah. Well, you know, those kids. Some of those kids they play like their father. You know, so
right.
why not? Also joining us from the compound way up north is they call him Coco on the streets. Here we call him Coco. Also,
Or Commander Cobra.
Commander Cobra. There you go. Okay.
yes, sir, Commander Cobra.
Just for that offline that didn't land.
Yeah.
There you go. Why don't we just salute him and
You
get it over
cannot
with?
disrespect Commander Cobra with your inane remarks.
Thank you, Juan-Juan. Is there any room in my back for another night? Let's salute him, get it over with. You know.
Okay.
Hi.
Excellent, gentlemen.
Well, how do you know? You're looking in on us? Juan-Juan, I want you to
he has to
evaluate my
return
salute.
the salute before we drop it.
Evaluate this, please.
It's
Not bad. A little bit more this way.
Like this?
No, not straight, horizontal.
Like that?
Like that, yeah.
Where's the
So
thumb
like a
goes?
45
Thumb is
degree.
straight?
Where does the thumb go? The question
Like
of the
this,
age is
like
right
this.
there.
Okay.
Lined up with the
There we go.
forefinger.
Why don't we make a video and send
Okay.
it out to all our fans?
YouTube it.
Thank you very much.
A
And
proper salute.
on the phone with us tonight, because this is a special Super Bowl show, I have no idea what this guest could have any possible connection to, but it's the semi-famous Dribbles the Clown.
Semi-famous.
Well, let's see.
Hey!
Jesus
Hello
Christ.
there, guys.
Rolls right in.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, Dribbles.
Dribbles.
So you're only 50%
How you
famous,
doing?
huh?
Okay.
Hello there, Juan-Juan.
Doing great.
My man.
Cobra is also here.
Good
With us.
evening.
Hello there, Commander. I'm giving you, one of those, but you can't see it.
There you go. That's a bit of
But in my
problem.
heart, I know.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, then.
Dribbles. So
I think
anyway,
that's called a salute now that I think of it.
I got an email from Dribbles the other day. Probably going to have to censor this little segment.
Probably.
And we booked him on the show, and he suggested a couple jokes. And I wrote back to him, and I said, listen, you punk.
Jokes that he would deliver?
Yeah, right. We write the jokes, you do the funny, or something like that. And then he, sent back some obscene thing to me, and I said, you know what? That's people should have listened to me a long time ago. Sammy, I told Sammy before he lost the eye, this is what he got. Okay. Within 30 seconds, he sends me a picture of him with his arm around a Sammy Davis Jr. doll and from some casino in Vegas. Right?
That's cool.
Hey, those guys were real. Those guys were real.
Well, I wrote back to him. I said, I
That
look
was-
more like Sammy Davis Jr. than that statue. That was like the worst. It did not
No,
capture.
no.
It did not capture Sammy. Let's say.
I'm sure they're going to be unhappy. That was the Rat Pack tribute show,
Oh,
and they
wow.
were standing still, but those were real guys.
Oh, no! Really? They were frozen humans.
Yeah,
Oh, my
you'll have to take another look. We had a faux Sammy and a faux Frankie and a faux Dino, and it was the best thing I've ever seen in Vegas.
Wow. So these guys are there frozen, and this creepy, dirty clown walks up to them and got his hands all over them, taking pictures. And
Wait,
they have to
but
stay
you're saying
frozen
those were the
in
real
place.
guys that were they modeled for you and they do the show and everything and they let you.
Well, they were just standing there. People came
Okay.
up, but
living statues.
they were gonna
struck
do
a
it for
pose
me.
for you.
It was
That's cool.
it was a wonderful, wonderful time.
That's cool.
By the way, I introduced them all to that Bend Over Shirley
Oh, wait.
drink I've been telling you
Dude,
guys
what?
He
about.
has to mention that every time he's on.
Who?
The Bend Over Shirley's.
That's
Wow.
right.
Uh-oh.
I think there's vodka in that, and that's
It's a
what
drink.
that's what leads to the bending
Oh,
over. I'm
all
not
right.
sure.
No, wait a minute.
I missed that show.
You're off script.
I'm sorry. The Bend Over Shirley's.
Yes, that's what he used to drink when he was in the Chinese restaurant.
Okay. Yeah.
8 segments ago.
Oh, when we talked about that, that Chinese place,
Yeah, right. And you said,
the restaurant or the laundry?
there you go. Once again, it's both racist
Oh
and
my
funny.
God!
Okay. Colby, you still
Now I
there?
remember.
I am.
Okay. All right. Taking this all down, I hope. So, Dribbles, why are you calling us?
Well, it just so happens you might remember this from the conversation. I've written a book. It's called "Walking in My Shoes: The Thoughts of a Clown."
All right. Walking.
He couldn't use the tears of a clown. It was already taken.
Well, listen. Already you're off to.
That's supposed to It's supposed to be a pun, you know.
You're already off to the wrong start. It should be called Walking in My Big Shoes.
Yeah.
The Tears
Oh,
of a
you're
Clown.
right.
See?
You know what? I'm going to have to change that now. And luckily, it's only in manuscript form, gentlemen,
Okay.
or the galleys. Yeah, the galleys are
Galleys,
still
yep.
being checked there.
Okay, so
That's what
it's
they
your
called them in
life.
the old days.
Your life so far, was that the angle?
Well, the idea is that it contains the things I think would make the world a better place.
Oh, okay.
Just a few. It's just thoughts to make the world a better place.
You mean, so we're talking
I
about
could.
your philosophy. Is
What?
philosophy is? It's
My
philosophy of the clown.
philosophy, and I do have some things to say.
Well, let's hear. Why don't we hear a few of them?
Yeah, please.
Oh, you're gonna let me in there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, fine. So I got a few.
Entertain
Ready?
us.
The stage is yours.
All right. So you should try to be inviting unto all. Like when I go to the supermarket, I like to buy the big 24-pack of toilet paper, and then I put it right on the conveyor, and I tell the cashier, "Hey, feel free to stop by."
I like it. I like that. I like that.
What,
All right,
I bought this in case you stop by. Feel free to stop.
That's right.
The
The
guy-
toilet
so
They
you're
call it
paper.
nuance there, Mac.
Put the toilet paper in, and you're
Yeah.
insulting the guy about
Yeah.
his bathroom habits.
That's
Is that-
right.
okay.
Something
Okay,
to that
that's-
effect.
Something along those lines.
Another dirty
In
joke.
case you were. Okay, go ahead, please.
There you
Dribbles.
go.
Number 2, please.
All right, so, okay, you should make sure also, here's something you should do. You should make sure you understand the consequences of the expression you use. For instance, some people say, I ought to tear that guy a new one. And my question is, where exactly are you going to put that? Because the best place for it is already taken. That one died.
Yeah, it did. You know, sometimes
All right, so
I have
fine.
I have
have to read
a
the
attention
report.
deficit
Appreciate it.
disorder, and
Yeah,
I
I just
didn't-
got one.
Yeah.
It cost. Wow.
All right,
Okay,
so,
Dribbles, please.
fine.
They're not all home
I'd like
runs.
to
there, my
point
friend.
out that Max said that was funny
No.
off air.
I
so
don't-
fine.
No, he didn't.
Don't blame him. How
No,
dare
he
you,
didn't.
friggin' clown? Don't you? Anyway, please, go
All right,
on.
so
They're not all
I
home
got some
runs.
more for you.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
You should. All right. Now, you should always try something new. Now, recently I bought a GPS for the slightly adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of telling you exactly where to go, it says things like warm, you're getting warm, or oh, you're cold. You're cold. It takes
All right.
longer to get where you're going to get, but it's interesting.
All right.
So
I actually
I
like
thought
it.
you'd like that. Hey,
I got
take back
it.
those
I stayed
crickets.
awake for that one. I thought Cobra was
All right,
gonna
that-
chime in and say, "Well, you can't get there from here." That's what they say up here, up in his neck of the woods.
Right. Go.
You can't get there from here.
He's just listening. In. Okay, please, Dribbles, continue.
All right, I got some more. Now, you know what? One of the things you can do is you can learn a lot from the movies. Now, did you know that the moral of the It's a Wonderful Life is that there is nothing worse than ending up a librarian?
that's
right.
tough.
Jeez.
Oh, man, this is tough. All right, that's it. I'm
But-
going right for the good stuff. You ready?
tough crowd here.
Oh, okay, I'm glad you were
Tough
holding
crowd here.
back.
You need to have another drink.
Yeah.
I was holding back.
Don't.
This one, there's a bend over Shirley.
Go ahead,
All right,
please.
so this one is for Commander Cobra. You ready?
I'm ready, sir.
You should always be fashionable. For instance, around the holidays, you can always find me sporting a mistletoe belt buckle.
Very nice. Very nice. I believe there's an innuendo in there. In clown speak.
Never.
I'm visualizing it now, putting it together, connecting the dots.
All right,
All right.
Dribbles.
All right.
So,
Let's see. I got some other stuff.
Are you getting to the good stuff next? Is that it?
It's coming.
Okay,
It's
good.
coming.
All right. Let's go.
All right.
I
So,
think he should be doing stand-up just
here's
before the
one
State
that
of the
Mac,
Union
here's
address.
one that I know that Mac likes. All right? You should dream big. Someday I plan to have a sprawling estate, and it's going to have a name. It's going to be called Morningwood.
That's actually pretty funny.
I like that. I knew you'd like that one a lot, Mac.
That wasn't me that was
And,
laughing.
wasn't?
I was feeding the crickets. They were silent during that. But can you just say that joke again, please? Once again, I might have tuned out there for a second.
All right. Are you ready?
If it's funny, it'll be good the second time as well. Go ahead.
Dream big.
You should dream big. So someday I plan to have a large, sprawling estate with a sign that says Morningwood.
I don't get it. I don't know. Is it a penis
All
joke?
right.
Is
Maybe,
it?
yeah.
It's one word. It's Morningwood. And
Coco liked
afterwards, Juan-Juan will explain that to you.
No, Coco will explain.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, Coco
I mean,
will. That's right. That's right.
There's a chance it's just
What?
not funny. Okay, go ahead. You know,
All right.
there's a
Since I know
development.
you love.
I should say. Let me
Since
just
I
interrupt.
know you love nuance, this
Okay.
is kind of like, this has been kind of in the news lately.
Okay.
It's important to learn how to take a hint. Now, this is absolutely true. Years ago, I was playing Trivial Pursuit with a group of people, including a girl I had a crush on,
Okay.
and I landed on the same spot she was in, and I put my playing piece on top of hers, and quietly, imperceptibly, she took it off and put it next to hers. And I'm telling you guys, you got to learn when to take a hint.
I think those are good words to live by.
There you go. Think of me the next time you're playing Trivial Pursuit, and stop with the cricket.
Listen,
I'm exhausted.
these are all in your book. Is that where we're wrapping this up? As?
Oh man,
These are in your book.
They are not. They are all in my book.
Okay. All right. And it's
They're
called-
all in my book. Well, and thank you for not asking me about Grandma. By the way, I was
how's Grandma?
absolutely positive that was coming up.
Well, tell us how she is.
Well,
Page 2.
she's been fired. That's how she is. She won't be working in the circus anymore, boys. I thought that this was only going to be, in Hollywood or maybe on Capitol Hill. The next thing I know, they're taking down the clowns, boys. And if they got it coming, they shouldn't be in the business.
Okay. What's this have to do with your grandmother?
Oh, not my grandmother. Don't you read the newspapers? I think it was the Big Apple Circus. There's a very famous male clown named Grandma
I don't read
who
the
has been
clown
fired
news
for,
on Daily News.
you know what?
For doing the
Doing
Harvey
naughty
Weinstein
things.
type thing.
Yeah, honking without being invited to honk.
Oh, wow. Oh, another good name for a song.
yeah.
Honking.
It would be.
Docking without paying the docking fee.
There you go. That would without
That's,
paying the docking fee to bring in the prostitute angle.
That's
Very
right.
good there,
Yep.
Juan-Juan. Okay, so please.
That's about it.
That's it. Okay. What would
So
you
your book is
All
going
right,
to be
you sure
available.
you don't
where?
want the one more? I got one more.
No.
Is it about a state
No.
policeman
All right.
stopping someone for speeding? What do you tell a cop if you're stopped for speeding?
What seems to be the officer problem?
No, what do you,
Oh, is that me again?
yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm
You're
not
on.
taking that. You wrote that. I'm not doing that. I'll do my own show. Thank you.
No, listen now. This is what I got to put
Don't
up
be
with during the
feeding
week.
me.
Okay. If you get stopped for
do-
speeding, you say to the cop,
Yes.
"My wife has diarrhea."
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
He is going to let you go.
Or
That-
if he doesn't,
every
if he
time I
doesn't
would
let you
expect
go,
that.
he lets her go.
you know. So that's the thing is, if he doesn't and nothing happens, then he kind of screwed
Oh
up.
man.
I think it's a good excuse. I think
Well,
most
I-
people
okay.
just like go.
I still have time to add that to the book.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's good to have
Yeah.
time.
It's good to have time. Okay.
Got nothing but
It's
time.
like doing time. Listen to it.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, listen. Don't let it get you down there, Dribbles. Okay. Shoot for the stars, Bill.
I
All right?
won't.
Okay.
I
All right.
won't. Listen. I'll make sure
Keep
you
your
all
feet
get an
on the ground
autographed
and
copy.
shoot for the stars.
We're getting copies. Okay.
You're all going to get copies, especially Mac, and you know what I'm going to write in yours.
Why don't you enlighten us? Why don't you tell us? Tease us.
No. I can't say I don't want the little boys and girls to hear that.
Oh, that's great. Now, thank you very much.
That's all right.
Thank you,
That's
Dribbles.
okay.
I guess. Okay. And are you married now? I shouldn't even ask this because we get about 13 seconds.
Oh,
Are you married?
I'm playing the field again, guys. I might, interestingly enough, I might be married in the next segment. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Okay. Depends on how love goes. Love is funny. You never know.
Yeah. And Clown,
there you go.
Thinking it's a state of mind.
By the way,
Yes.
I will lead you with this one, which you guys may not know. Ready?
Right. Yes.
Juan-Juan.
Yes.
Do you know what the cannibal said about the clown?
This meat tastes funny. Is that it?
God, you're going to steal my material? He said he tasted funny. Are you going to steal my material?
Okay.
I don't even get a badoom boom out of that.
I think it's,
Give him a badoom boom.
There you go. How's that? All right.
Thank you.
It's something he doesn't hear very often.
That's all right.
Give him to. Okay. Dribbles, thank you, I think.
So, boys,
and
thank you very much. And next time you're all coming with me to Vegas.
Oh, that would be, man, that would be a trip,
Hey, what team is he pulling for in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, okay. What's your prediction for the Super Bowl then? Do you follow football?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I said the Vikings should beat the crap, I'm looking forward to a Patriot win.
Okay, all right. Patriots, everyone's in the Patriots corner. Dribbles and our friend from 44 light years away. Dribbles, thanks a lot. Keep working on the act, my friend. Don't let us get you down.
I'll do what I can, and
practice makes perfect.
Always.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be on the show, boys.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. And next time, bring your material up sooner, okay?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
He can do Dribbles can do the intermission gigs at that venue where the marquee says "Live Girls."
Yeah, well, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
I
mean,
Ooh.
He'd be bringing down the house then.
Yeah. Some
live honking.
Setting up the tent.
Well, the future's wide open.
Meadowwood or whatever the heck it was.
Morningwood.
Morningwood, boys. That's this. Also trademarked.
Yeah. There's a development up in close to where we do the show. It's called Fatherland. Do you know that?
Yes.
Fatherland?
Oh, you're absolutely lying.
It's
Fatherland. I called them up. I have to tell you what I said off air, but I called them up and asked them the obvious question.
Is it German?
No.
Oh, my God.
And they said, of course. We don't mind. Fatherland.
Oh my.
Anyway. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there's just a few of my friends on Long Island who might want to talk to him a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll set
just
that up.
Saying.
Okay? We'll set it up. Thank you,
right,
Dribbles, and good luck with the book.
Dribbles,
all right,
good sport. Very fun.
Have a very, very good night, boys.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Avita Zane. All right.
Take care.
All right.
Okay, Dribbles always. I was going to say always
funny.
Hilarious. Yeah, no, but not really.
Brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, it does bring tears to your eyes, but got to work on the material a little bit. Anyway, so why don't we do this one? We take a
we just
commercial
don't get
break.
Vegas humor, I guess.
No. But imagine these poor guys that their job is just standing like a statue outside a casino. And people are taking pictures of them. There's like dirty, freaking drunken, butt smoking clown.
Hope they get paid well for that.
Hanging all over them and stuff. It's I don't think you get paid enough. Anyway, did you see Bob the Ghost just then? I saw you looking.
No, I was
okay. All right. Looking at the TV.
I was pointing to a Gronk thing that was up there. It's like
we have a nice TV now here in the new studio. Beautiful speakers. And we got mood lighting now.
Mood lighting, TV.
Excellent. It's
new microphone.
Yep. Very cool here. WXEX.
Say that fast.
Exeter, New Hampshire is where we record the show at their studios.
Mm-hmm. Classic Rock 92.1.
You got it, baby. Anyway, so let's take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Track Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Mack Maloney's Mill Track Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. This is our special Super Bowl shoe in the studio with us tonight. The very famous Juan-Juan is here, girls.
Hello, Mac.
He's dressed in the... What kind of voice was that?
We
get to do the mood lighting. Wow, okay.
That's my intimate voice.
All right. Yeah, just what I want to hear.
It's usually the voice that's reserved when I'm talking to Tom Brady in my dreams.
In your dreams? Yeah? Okay. All right.
I go, hey, Tom.
Okay. TMI and another show. Thank you for joining us. You're in your Pat's regalia.
That's right.
Once again, the exact same stuff you had on 2 weeks ago.
That's right. I haven't washed them. I can't wash them or do anything with them until I'm sleeping in these clothes.
Really? Yeah, okay. All right.
Until the game is over.
Until the game is over?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. All right. But you will wash them after the game is
I
over?
will.
That's official?
I will, and I'll get the new
Good to know.
Super Bowl champions 52.
Oh, that's right. You have a whole new wardrobe coming.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
I've got the credit card ready to go.
Really? Wow. The life you lead, my friend, is just incredible.
Roman numerals LII or L11, however you want to look at it.
It's the one for the other thumb, right?
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
what they call 'em, the one for the other thumb. And, also joining us from the compound up in north of here, let's say. They call him Coco on the street, but to us, he's Commander Cobra.
That's right.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Commander. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, sir. Very well.
Good.
And you?
Good. I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay.
Are you worried about the big game? Are you worried about the prediction?
I'm a nervous wreck.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm fine.
You two girls done?
Where's all the confidence?
I'm always confident. It's just that it's always a nail biter, and I already bit my nails down on the Jaguars game.
There you go. I
So,
can see
know.
his.
There's a raving.
His fingers are
there's a
bloody
raving
stumps.
endorsement to this sporting event.
Anything can happen.
Right.
You got Tom Thumb, and you got Gronk, and you got.
I believe there's a movie called Any Given Sunday.
Any Given
Yes.
Sunday.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we are.
What's your favorite football movie? Mine is Invincible. I thought that was one of the best.
That's about soccer.
No, that's Invictus. Invincible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Jeepers creepers. And who reminds us every week, Juan-Juan? Who's got the degree in film studies?
Yeah, but
The great Mr. Mack. He's got
I
like a
only watched-
PhD in film
No,
studies.
not Mr. Mack. The Mack.
The
Mac.
Mac. Yeah, we're in the middle of a brand change, by the way. I only watch good movies. Why? What was Invincible? What was that about?
It's about the walk-on or the guy that came from Philadelphia, played for the Eagles. It's a great movie.
Wow.
Mark Wahlberg plays the lead. It's a true story,
Some doc.
and it's outstandanding. It is
Okay.
one of the best movies out there.
Huh? What was the name of the movie? The guy who walked on for Notre Dame.
Rudy.
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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did he ever
I
play?
figured that would be yours since it's Notre Dame in your Irish heritage.
Yeah. Did like any Irish people go there anymore? Did he actually play? This
Which
kid?
one?
Rudy. Or was he like the bucket boy or something?
No, he does play.
does
It's a great story about growing up.
Oh, good.
It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale, but it's a true one.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Well, listen, we're all about sports and football tonight, and that's good because
And fairy tales.
And fairy tales, as it turns out, because very good there, 1-1. Hang on.
Yep.
First one of the segment, if not the night. Because a very good friend of ours is calling us from a planet 44 light years away. He's calling us because it is Super Bowl season.
How many light years?
44 light
Wow.
years. And we hear from him every time this time of year because he's into the NFL and he's into prognosticating.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yep.
The outcome of the big game, the Super Bowl. So it's our friend, a very good friend, Teraak from Planet 44 Light Years. How you doing there tonight, brother?
How are you doing, man? Can you hear me? I'm so far away.
Don't you have like a translator button or something?
I don't know. Let me check. It might be weak on battery, so we'll see.
Hang on. Okay, here we go. I think that's it. Okay. Teraak, buddy up there from 44 light years away. How you doing there tonight, brother?
Hi, good evening, Mac,
sounds
Commander,
good.
and Juan-Juan. I'm fabulous. How are you, folks?
Yeah, we're doing very good.
Yeah,
Very
that
good.
translator is working great.
Right, yes, right.
It is. It's the Liberace translator, apparently. It's fantastic.
It's the new batteries.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
I've chosen my Earth voice properly.
Okay.
Oh, yes, you have, Teraak.
It's the new Duracells we put in there. So, well, thanks for joining us. I know this is like a very long distance call. So, what do you think? What do you think of the Patriots season this year? They went 13-3, pretty good, not bad, right?
They did a fabulous job. No one can beat the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what everyone thought this year. They did lose 3 games. They thought they were going to go 16-0, but sometimes it's better not to have a streak because then the streak becomes the story, and
Right.
the pressure's on
Mac,
everything.
Could I ask a quick question
Yes.
before we get into the actual prediction? Because I've been very curious about this.
Okay.
I'm assuming that Teraak or Teraak's has people that have visited the planet. And I'm just curious that if you are an extraterrestrial and you say you come by Boston or Exeter or, in the New England, do you kind of associate yourself now being with the Patriots? And if you're like up, in New York, it's a Giants fan, or down in Philly, a Philly fan, an Eagles fan. Does this work, Teraak, for extraterrestrial visits? Do you assimilate to the local sports team?
I do not assimilate to local sports teams. I have studied them all and made a conclusion that the Patriots are my number one favorite.
There you go, Cobra. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Coco? Okay, good. So why don't we move on? It's We Are All Patriots, right? That's the one.
That's what my sweatshirt says. We are all Patriots.
We're all Patriots, no matter
here,
what
there, and everywhere.
planet you're on. Teraak, why don't we remind the listeners what the name of your planet is?
I have the authority to rename my planet, and I renamed our planet after consulting with the council to Planet TB12.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. He's got his own planet named after him.
What a great idea.
Okay,
If he doesn't already have everything, now he's got a planet named after him.
What's funny? It's that always
Really hard to get gifts for in the Christmas season.
All these other plants are always run by a council. You know what I mean? And these guys all dress the same, like in silver.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Right. All right, TB12 has his own planet. That's excellent. What do you think of, why are they winning? Is it because of Brady? Is it because of their coaching? What do you think of the coaching?
Well, I will have to tell you this. When it comes to football, this is the coach's area. Bill Belichick is like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the NFL.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
He controls the force. One side note, but he dresses like a hobo.
Oh, see, that's maybe that's hobo chic. You don't know. Maybe he's trying to stop.
You got that right. He does dress like a hobo.
Okay. Yeah.
Hobo Belichick.
Hobo Belichick.
Hobo
What a
Belichick.
name for a band.
Yeah.
Hobo Belichick.
Jeepers. You need to trademark that one.
The collar
genius.
on his thing that he was on the hood he was wearing, the hoodless hoodie, I call it.
Yeah.
It was like all worn and frayed.
He just took a scissors to it.
Yeah.
Cut off the hood, Anyway.
It's unbelievable.
Now,
The other
Teraak,
coaches must hate it. They hate that Bill can do anything he wants to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He can take that surface and throw it. He can wear what he wants to wear.
Right.
Matt Patricia can wear his hat on backwards and the pencil through his ear.
Right,
and
that's true. That's another
scruffy
look.
beard, kind of like yours. It can look
Okay.
like, he just
Kinda
came in
like
off
mine.
the
What are you
street.
dragging my beard into this one? Anyway. Hey, listen, so Teraak, we're assuming then Tom Brady is your favorite player?
He is my favorite quarterback of all time. I have to praise him for a physique.
Oh.
It is out of this world or any other world.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll second that emotion,
You're getting
Tara.
one all worked up. Okay. So and what do you think of the wife? We have discussions here about her all the time.
Well, his wife is the most beautiful creature in the galaxy. She is also fabulous.
Okay. Ever see her
I
sister?
have to tell you that Giselle's long neck and big eyes. She would fit right in here on our planet TB12 because she looks like the rest of us.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, I see.
You make her your
Beautiful.
queen?
She's
Are
out
you-
of
are you
this
saying
world,
there's a
isn't she?
position for- Enable her to
Yes,
become the queen?
absolutely. I don't need my wife.
Okay, you're married,
trade.
Teraak? You're married, Teraak?
Let's make a trade.
Teraak, you're married, right?
Well, no one from my planet will hear this, so yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. No one will hear it and believe it is what you meant to say, probably. But look
Absolutely.
at, how do
By the time the waves bounce back, no one will know.
You'll be divorced by then.
listen, how do people on your planet, get it on, let's say? How do they have sexual
Copulate,
relations?
I believe, is the word you
Copulate,
want,
right?
wordsmith.
That's the word NASA uses, copulate. How does that happen? Can you tell us?
Well, we use a term called docking. And I can't explain any further because of the children.
Yes, that's correct. And we don't need
That
to
may
have
be
any of the
listening.
Earth children look up in the
Right.
Urban Dictionary what that means
Docking.
in this
Exactly.
part.
What more do you need to know, really, when you think about it? Okay, so listen, here's the big moment in the segment. Please, Colin, you were correct last year, right on the money. So please, Teraak, our friend from 44 light years away, please tell us who is going to win the Super Bowl and what the score will be.
Are you ready, Earth?
I'm ready. I'm
people?
ready to get down.
The New England Patriots will win their 6th Super Bowl on February 4th, and they will defeat those Philadelphia Eagles
Filthies.
28-13.
28
Whoa.
to 13.
I like that spread.
28 to 13.
I like that
I
spread.
do like that spread. Okay, we're talking football. Teraak, thank you very much for joining us again. Okay.
Thank you
Come
very
on
much.
next week. Come on next week. We'll see how right you are. Okay.
Teraak, how many shekels should we put down for you in the
Shekels.
Shekels.
yes, the planetary betting?
You're
What would you
assuming he
like?
knows what
Let's
shekel.
stick with the number 12. It seems to be working out for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. All right. Maybe another show. That's good. Teraak, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend. Okay.
Thank you guys
Let's give
very
it a-
much.
Let's give
You're
Teraak.
fabulous, Teraak.
Teraak, thanks for your
He's
input.
beyond fabulous.
Thank you.
Okay.
Beyond fabulous.
Okay. Well, once again, another.
I think he's on
interesting
target with that.
with Teraak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it would be great if he's right in the middle.
two
you know, right on-
touchdown score. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll tell you what. Why don't we take a break now, and we'll listen to a commercial, and then get back to our fabulous show. That's what we should call it. And our special Super Bowl show. So this is Mack Maloney, and you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back. Went to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Hey, this is Mack Maloney. This is our Super Bowl extravaganza tonight in the studio with me. Decked out, as always, in Patriots gear, of course. Very famous Juan-Juan is here. He's got the hat.
My Tom Brady
He's got
regalia.
the shirt. He's got the pants.
Five times champion with the Roman numerals, one of which is
Right.
wrong.
He's got the boots. And he's also got a cape. TB12 cape. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
He has told us that you haven't washed it now for how long?
Yeah, I'm trying to get like a thumb injury, just like Tom Brady.
He's trying to cut himself in between segments,
Yeah,
right?
just in his honor.
Yes.
Let's see what kind of medical treatment I can get.
Wow.
Imagine 12 stitches right there.
I know. It
You
could be
shouldn't-
that. What's that thing when wounds just show up? It's a Roman.
Spontaneous?
No, the
Oh.
Stigmata?
the stigmata. Yeah, there you go.
Great
You like
movie.
it so much, the stigmata would you would cut just
Who
like
was in that?
this.
Gabriel Byrne was in that?
Yeah, it's a weird movie.
It is
The
weird.
whole thing is weird because
Wicked
you know what,
weird.
that stuff actually happens to
I know
people,
it.
and it's really, really
Yeah.
freaky. So Cobra is with us too. Did I introduce him already?
Not in this segment. No.
Okay, all right. Also on the line with us from his compound way up north. They call him Coco on the streets. I should have remembered that. But we call him Cobra here, Commander Cobra.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How about that for an introduction? That one,
It
29
was
seconds.
it brought tears to my eyes.
Did it? Yeah, is that what it was? So anyway, how are you doing tonight? That you can tell us in a few
Very well, sir.
seconds. Yeah, okay. The goats are okay? And that's not
The goats are well.
code. Okay.
The new dog is well.
Oh, you got another dog.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
He's another
Wolf?
one in desperate need of a home.
Okay.
And he is very interesting.
There's another
He's
wolf
a Pyrenees dog with
Oh.
a little bit of Malamute and a little bit of Irish Wolfhound in him.
Oh, my God. Holy cow. He's another monster. No, it's,
Yes,
the
his
Jack was a
head
great
right now. I'm
monster.
sitting
He
in the
was-
chair, and his head is parked on my arm, looking at the screen, wondering who I'm talking to.
Okay, so what was the mix again, please?
He is primarily 3/4 of him is Pyrenees Mountain Dog.
Okay, yep.
And 1/8 Malamute, 1/8 Irish Wolfhound.
Guy gets around, even
Holy cow.
with his size.
Yeah.
Doesn't like the bride one, but he does okay for
His
himself.
family was right at it. You know, his family tree was just no slowing them down.
I'm going to do DNA ancestry of that
Wow.
dog.
Yikes. Okay, well, that's an interesting dog. You know,
Wow, yeah.
can't wait
Yeah,
to see
he's
it.
already taken a Mrs. Cobra. He knows where the power is.
Oh,
so
really?
he's
Yeah. Okay. He's already dissing you. Is that what you were saying?
No, he's my buddy. He's
Okay.
he's a good dog, good pal.
Okay.
And it's nice to have a steady companion here when I'm not here
How long-
on the adventures.
Okay. How long have you had him? It hadn't been long.
No, just a week.
Oh, just a week, and they're already
That's
falling in
great.
love. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get new dogs.
You know.
You never lose the love of the dogs you had before, but
Oh no. Yeah,
It's
I'm
not a
still-
replacement,
still
not a substitute.
Hurt quite
Yeah.
badly
I
due to the
bet you
passing
are.
of the wolf dogs.
Yep.
yeah.
Passing him never. Anyway, also on the phone with us, if he's still awake, is author Gary Olsen. Let me give you a little bio on this guy, okay? Worked for the U.S. government for 25 years in one of the agencies, let's say.
That's a rough gig.
A rough gig, apparently he got some fist fights
As my wife
right there.
my wife would share with you someday.
That's true. She also works with the government, right?
She retired finally.
Oh,
She
really?
couldn't
Yeah?
wait. She couldn't
Okay.
wait.
Did she retire or did she really retire?
Yeah, she did retire.
Really? Yeah, she's not okay.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that if the knock came in the night for us, somehow it would lead back to her department. No,
Yeah.
was I just dreaming that?
Well, she worked for the State Department, so
There you go. What more do you have to say?
otherwise known as the Department of State.
There you go. Anyway,
I got the gear to prove it. Actually, they have gear.
They have gear?
I get Department of State gear.
do you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
They got game too.
There you go. Game and gear.
I'll bring some of it in one of these
Really?
days.
Like
Yeah.
hats and
They
stuff?
don't do it anymore. Yeah, they get
Oh.
pajamas.
They get State
I've got
Department
a
pajamas?
laptop bag. I've got a sweatshirt.
Really? Yeah.
I as an IT guy, I used to I service restaurants, and if I go
Yes.
through the where they're cooking the food,
Yeah.
people, these people running for cover, and I went, oh, they're running for cover because I got my Department of State. I think I'm
Immigration.
looking for green cards.
Okay. All right. Are they mixed
Yeah.
up?
Well,
Does it say, it's
it's a little mixed up.
in the
Kind of
fine
wrong
print on the
letter.
sweatshirt? It says Passport Center.
Oh, okay. Well,
Passport something.
that might scare them. Okay. Yeah. Who has passports, right?
Yeah,
These days.
papers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Once again, funny and racist.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh.
It happened.
Once again.
I made
That's
sure
no
I-
excuse these
I
days.
made sure if I wasn't visiting that client, I wasn't wearing that sweatshirt.
Wow. And there's actually State Department pajamas?
Yeah, there's.
Really?
I do have that.
Do,
It's got
do
a
they have the
logo
dump trap in the
on
back?
leg. No,
No? Okay.
no.
Are
Actually,
they feeties?
They're actually decent. They're sort of like jogging pants, workout pants.
No feeties or feeties?
None.
No? Okay.
they're-
All right.
they're-
Good to know what
yeah,
our
they're
government
good.
is spending money on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ate 5 minutes and 37 seconds of the Gary Olsen segment. If he's still there.
He's probably asleep now.
So,
I'm busy reading my book.
oh, there he goes. Okay, good to know.
Time well spent.
Yeah. So after he left the U.S. government, he was someone who also went to Emerson, okay? Another great education from Emerson College.
Beautiful.
And he is giving lectures. He went back to something he loved, talking about movie directors, movies in
Oh, I
general.
love it.
Giving talks all around the Washington, D.C. area about different kind of movies and directors. And he's written his first book. And the title of the book is The 15 Geniuses of the Silver Screen, right?
You got the first 3 words right.
Okay, all right.
15 directors.
15 directors.
Okay, here it is.
15
the 15 geniuses behind
Geniuses.
the lens.
Behind
How
the
the
lens.
greatest film directors shaped the movies we see today.
Oh man, I can't
There you
read. I can't wait to read the Quentin Tarantino chapter.
Gary Olsen, Olsen.
I'm
Okay,
writing
wow.
it down.
That went right over.
Amazon.com.
Yes.
15 geniuses behind the lens. Just look up Gary Olsen at Amazon.com.
Got it.
Okay.
Which chapter is the Quentin Tarantino chapter?
He's got all his plugs in. What more do we have to get from him?
I actually mentioned him in Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute, you mentioned QT and the Alfred Hitchcock?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He would never give him his own chapter, right? I'm kidding. All of a sudden,
he's a
Juan-Juan's
copycat.
shooting fake guns at me.
These are people that actually, when you see today's movies,
Yes.
you can attribute at least a lot of the parts of the movies
Yes,
to
to them.
one of these directors.
Right. In
Oh,
Hollywood,
no
they
doubt.
call him
No doubt.
homage. Everywhere else, they call him ripping them off. Right?
Yeah, right.
Correct.
But anyway, listen. You're an expert now. You're an expert on directors. In no way, shape, or form would you ever give Quentin Tarantino his own chapter, right?
Bullcrap.
No, again, he's a copycat of
See?
Sam Peckinpah,
See.
Sergio
Alfred
Leone.
Hitchcock. I mean, you name it,
Yeah.
all the way down to D.W. Griffith.
Well,
so.
in in one of Quentin Tarantino's books, he makes it plain that he learned from those guys.
Well, see, that's once again, homage.
And
Did he use the word homage?
So did Robert Rodriguez too.
Okay, all right. Well, so be it. All right. Just saying, when you're
So
talking.
what's wrong with that?
Come up with your own friggin' ideas. Come up with your own style. What are you ripping someone else off?
I think he has his own style, but obviously he learned from the greats. He learned from the greats.
He learned from the greats, in quotes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's making $1 gazillion doing it.
Jesus, I don't know what for, because those movies he made, anytime, what we should do, we should have a screening of any Quentin Tarantino movie. See, Juan-Juan loves them. Now, if Tom Grady didn't exist,
from Hateful Eight all the way to some of the screenplays that he did where he didn't direct.
Yes.
I can't think of one right now.
If Tom Brady didn't exist, he would be.
Christian Slater was in.
God.
What was that movie?
Christian Slater. You know what they say about him?
What?
Jack Nicholson has a headache. He takes a aspirin. Okay. Because everything he does is so much like Jack Nicholson. If I have to explain it, it's not funny. Anyway, Juan loves Quentin Tarantino. Okay, and
I can tell. Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
right?
Reservoir Dogs.
Never
man.
saw it. Yeah,
yep.
I can't
great,
sit through. What?
Great ensemble cast, great opening. I like how everything opens like people having a discussion around a dinner table, a dining room.
Doesn't every movie have like a discussion around a dinner table?
I got the script for Pulp Fiction in 1995 when we were house hunting in California. My daughter and I were sharing dialogue back and forth in a Denny's.
Wow.
They can believe
believe
we're in the opening scene of Pulp Fiction. Except I didn't stand on the table with a gun like.
Yeah, right. Well, you would have been in the news
like
then.
Tim Roth.
Okay, all right.
Oh, not Tim Roth. The girl there. What's her name?
No one knows because hardly anyone saw the movie, but you. I mean, I know it's a famous cult movie, but I mean, I could get 10 people together and maybe 1 or 2 would have seen it. It's it's big in your world, if you know what I mean. But I don't think it was.
My oldest daughter went to film school because Quentin, influenced by that. Yeah.
Why don't we get her on some?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
She's the one that's going to a PhD for artificial intelligence.
Maybe not. I was going to say maybe we could debate, but no.
She thinks the machines are going to make better decisions than.
Oh, really?
people.
Yeah. Who can blame her when you think about it, right? When is that going to happen? Is it going to happen anytime soon?
I don't know. They've been talking about it since the 80s.
Yeah. Okay. So. Not soon, or 5 years?
Soon, right around the corner.
Okay. That's good for some of us, right?
Let the machines make the decisions, and we'll just kick back and relax.
Hey, after that segment about sex robots that was on, let's say, last week, got a lot of email about that.
I meant to text her and say, listen to this segment.
Yeah. Well, what was funny is that we kept saying, there's a military application for the sex robot, but we never say what it is.
We leave it up to your imagination.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, we're still trying to figure that out. So, Gio.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about, can you name right off the top of your head the 15 directors? Ready? Go.
Beginning with Griffith, Wells, Chaplin, Ford, Capra, Hitchcock, Wilder, Kurosawa, Bergman, Disney, Fellini, Allen, Kubrick, Scorsese, and last and least, Spielberg.
Had to ruin the list, didn't you?
What, the Woody Allen?
Well, yeah, we can talk about him in a minute.
Mac hates Woody Allen, too.
Yeah, but Spielberg is not.
I love Woody Allen.
Is not the greatest director. Believe me, he's a popular director, but he is not. He's just barely a good director. Okay, we should do an entire show
but he was very influential.
Yeah, he's very right. He's a popular director. But
who are we talking about?
Spielberg.
Oh, Spielberg. Okay.
Anyway,
you would not have the summer blockbusters if it wasn't for.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean they're good movies. You know what I mean?
This is influential movies. This is influential directors. Not,
but once again, when you're in Close Encounter, and I realized that it was back in the '80s, and when that guy was on that had some kind of connection. Mark, your friend there, Cobra.
I am.
No, I didn't ask if you're awake. Your friend.
It's good to ask though, as this dialogue goes on.
Canastro, he was on a little while ago. We'll have to cut this out now. The guy who was on a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, we met him down at the UFO show. He does this. He does the props.
You're talking about D'Antonio.
Yes, right. Yeah, right.
Canastro threw me up. I'm sorry. I was running through a long list. I thought maybe you were talking about Michael Bay, the director who has directed me in a major motion.
He's been directed by Michael Bay.
Did
How
you
cool
see
is that?
Did you see how he snuck that in
I
there,
know
that
it.
he's a movie star?
No, not a movie star,
Yes.
an actor.
Okay. Really? You know, I was in a movie too, Wise Guy. Did you know that I was in Civil Action, the movie with John Travolta?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
it's a
an
great
extra.
movie.
Yeah. The movie is terrible. You're kidding me,
As
but
an extra, he was hit by a taxi cab.
I was out there,
in
man. We
traffic.
should talk about doing a whole show, because when you're an extra in one of these things, okay, you know, it's a lot of like standing around and stuff like that. But when it comes to like the food and stuff like that, the craft services, it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
You go there for the food.
when we weren't doing anything, they gave us like a whole truck. We went there and played cards until they needed us. You know,
That's great.
I won like $100 one day just sitting around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Okay, we're all standing around and like 2,000 Teamsters just standing around, and none of us are doing anything.
Hey, don't knock it.
That's a movie.
I was with IATSC, so don't knock it.
Can you confirm that, Gary Olsen, Hollywood expert, that Teamsters more or less on movie sets just hang around, do nothing?
Yes, I was in a extra in a movie, Pelican Brief, and you are correct, Mundo.
Wow.
Now, did you do that Pelican Brief on site in New Orleans? Extra?
No, this is the DC version.
DC segment?
Yeah,
Wasn't it on the Supreme Court steps or something?
it was. Robert Culper was right there.
Oh, wow. Well, I spy.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So that was your
Then to
impression.
Washington, Julia Roberts.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Did you ever see her in person?
I married a lookalike.
What did you
That's
say?
a big
He
yes.
said he married a lookalike. A
What are you
Julia
talking-
Roberts.
You're
So there
saying
you
your
go.
wife looks like Julie Roberts?
Wow.
That's what people claim.
Really?
You don't think so? You don't think she looks like her?
Well, I'm going to
I
say
haven't seen
something
her.
that I don't think I think your wife is much more attractive than Julie Roberts.
Good answer, Mac.
I know, but I mean it absolutely. I know his
sir.
wife, and she's a dish, as I used to say. Okay, but
Well,
Julie
we were
Roberts, take
we
a
were
real
in
good look
Berlin,
at her.
Maryland, and that's with the scene of Runaway Bride.
Okay, yeah.
And
Good
it
one.
was a couple of years after Julia Roberts had done, and Richard Gere had done the movie over there, and we were just window shopping, and all of a sudden somebody said, "Wow, Julia Roberts is here! I can't believe it!" Looking and pointing at my wife. So,
Wow.
Hey, a quick one.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Richard Gere. Back in the 80s, I was working at a major computer company, and a marketing girl came up to me and says, "You know what, Juan? You remind me of Richard Gere."
Oh, sorry.
And I said,
the American Gigolo.
I said, "Officer and a Gentleman or American Gigolo?"
Oh,
I just
wow.
started working in that office. It was my first suit and tie gig.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was there to support sales, you know.
Huh.
Yeah,
This
so
must
they
have been
closing the
many-
deal right there.
And she was like
Many years ago.
buttering me up and said, "Oh, by the way, you know, after work on Fridays, we go up to the Marriott up the street."
You could have her locked up these days. She was buttering you up and
Right from the get-go.
making you feel
I just
uncomfortable.
started working there. This, you know, bloke from New Hampshire is down in the big city of Burlington.
But you look like Richard Gere.
But I reminded her of Richard Gere.
So she
She
said.
didn't say I look like Richard Gere.
Okay. You remind really, yeah.
So that's why.
Did you sweep her in her arms
that's
and
why-
walk her out of the office? Like
I don't know. I thought maybe I'm more like
Did you treat her
him
like
in
a
Chicago. You know,
wow, he is.
you know, dancing.
He's
and-
dancing again.
Yeah,
So
Chicago.
Gary, all right, let's
Whatever.
talk some directors. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go to Woody Allen first. Get that out of the way.
Oh,
Okay?
I love Woody Allen.
We both went to film school together. When did you graduate from the great Emerson?
Oh boy, 82, I think.
Really? Yeah.
Something like
Okay.
that, yeah.
You must have been cut back several years.
Get back.
I got out in 79, 78. Okay.
Right, wow. Well, you're older than me.
Okay. All right. Touche. Thank you very much. Not much older there, Grandpa.
Okay.
Anyway,
You must have flunked out proper Steadicam techniques or something.
no, back then, Steadicam. Are you kidding me? You know, but it
It
was a
wasn't
lot of
invented
fun.
yet.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
bet.
a lot of fun. And you know, you took a lot of classes where you actually made films with and stuff and editing, but you also took theory and all that jazz,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? So, one thing you were sure to get back in film school back then is you're going to watch a lot of Ingmar Bergman films, okay? And you're going to believe Woody Allen is a freaking genius like no other. Kids worshipped him, you know? And back then
I
he could
remember
make
that.
some funny movies.
Yeah.
Okay, Sleeper's a funny movie, and Annie Hall, you know, was the movie. If you went out on a first date with someone to Annie Hall,
Yeah.
bada bing, man. That was just
Play It Again, Sam was one for me.
yeah,
in that
another
era.
one. You know, and they were good. They were good. Okay, and then now, I mean, can you name 5 of his movies after, let's say, Manhattan?
Oh, The Blue Jasmine. Have you seen that one?
He's a fan.
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah,
okay, yeah.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You know,
Jeez.
he gets lost in the movies. Now you're talking about the movies that he directed and he was in, but the movies that he directed and he's not in
Yes.
is some of his best stuff. Like I always liked Midnight in Paris. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that movie brings tears to my eyes. Some scenes. Yeah. Radio Days.
I offered you a piece of gum and it brought tears to your eyes.
I love Radio Days because I'm a big radio guy. And I got all of those scenes.
All right, let me
one of
ask you
them.
this. Let's get straight
Except
to the
I never
chase.
went to the beach looking for
Does
Nazi
it bother you
submarines.
that his lifestyle?
Yeah, that does bother me. Yeah.
Okay, and
it does.
You know, think about it for a
But I
second.
separate that from his filmmaking.
Why? How can you? It's like
I
trying
do.
to separate someone who takes steroids and is really good in baseball. How can you? For me, it can't be one.
Like I
or the other.
separate Yoko Ono from John Lennon.
There you go. Once again,
It's that difficult.
Being topical.
You know, it's difficult, but I do it.
Anyway, Gary. So he's made some good films. I just don't. I can't stand him or anything the way that he kind of explained it all away and stuff like that. I mean, he's just another showbiz dick,
I like movies where he's actually narrating the movie as it goes along. I like that.
It was
I like
funny
that
back
type
in the
of-
'70s and '80s, but
I still like it. Yeah, no, it was
Wow.
top shelf back then.
Anyway,
I thought
Gary,
he hit his peak in Sleeper, and then I could have
Sleeper,
left it from there.
Yep, yeah. Sleeper is a funny movie. It really is. You know, all the different stuff that he gets into that, it's funny. And there were other ones too. He did.
The fact that he could even get a Gasmatron in there is
That's what's around. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think they sell that in the Adam and Eve catalog.
But
The Orgasmatron.
we don't want to
Well,
go
you
there
guys would
again.
know.
We'll be hearing from lawyers in Wisconsin there. Watch it there, my friend. Anyway, so Gary, okay, so what did he make that you talk about in the book that would relate to our show, so science fiction-wise?
It's got to be Sleeper. I
Yeah.
mean, it's set in the future. He's resurrected from his death, and he goes on with Diane Keaton, who was a
She's in
previous girlfriend of his, and blah 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 boom.
She's in Sleeper?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
wow. It's been a long time since I
Yeah,
saw
their
it.
relationship had ended by that time, but
Oh, really, yeah?
they
And-
were
and
still getting along.
he wasn't going out with her when they made Annie Hall?
No, oh no, that was long gone by that
See,
time.
there was a good example of a movie that really kind of changed society and stuff, you know, because until she came kind of dressed sloppy, kind of chic but sloppy, man, within like 2 weeks, every chick everywhere was dressing
was
like
dressing
her.
like Annie Hall.
Man,
That was her
Yeah,
clothes.
wearing the hat.
She got it right off from the rack in the closet.
wow. Well, I'll tell you, that's one of those movies.
My wife dressed like that for a while.
Really, yeah.
She
well,
did.
back
She-
then,
she pulled it off too.
But it
I
was hot, yeah. If you
the
did it
Annie
right,
Hall
it
era.
was.
Let's say break out my photographs of the Annie Hall era yet. Definitely.
Yeah, it was one of those movies that, if you didn't fall in love with her immediately, you were eating too much popcorn or
Yeah.
something. That really came across. So, and she's never been anywhere near as good since.
Well, Gary, what was that movie with Scarlett Johansson? The Scarlett Johansson era, the tennis movie.
Oh, that was
was
Match
that?
Point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another good one.
You got to be the only.
You got to really
person
pay attention.
in New
to-
England.
I
who
love
saw
that movie.
That was his financially his most successful movie.
Was it really?
Really? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because I know
yeah.
the way he's been doing it for years. He's
See,
like
Mac,
he's
look.
a flim flam man. He like goes to Hollywood. They give him like about $5 million. He gets all these actors to appear for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, because now it's so great to be in one of his friggin' movies,
sure.
right?
Be associated with Woody Allen was like.
And they never make their money back, but he always goes and gets the $6 million again. And
That's not true, Brian.
Yes. Who?
That's not true.
Whoa!
Brian just
That is
left.
not.
Yeah.
That is not true. His European audiences fall head over heels by him. It just
Yeah.
They also did
Like
with Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, there you go, Cobra.
Well after the evaporation date, so
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure we can use that as the the judging
What do you
marker.
What do you know? What do you know about Jerry Lewis's movie that they never showed? The what's it called? The
Clown?
Tears of a Clown.
I believe that's it.
I don't know, but I mentioned Jerry Lewis in my Martin Scorsese. He's the king of comedy.
Yeah, great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie. Unappreciated. No one saw it. Incredible movie.
De Niro didn't want Lewis to be in that movie.
Really?
He thought
Yeah.
of that, over-the-top comedian that, was like, pantomiming everywhere.
Right.
And Lewis just played an understated
He's
role
great.
And nailed it. Yeah.
He's great. He's exactly who that guy would be,
Why did
Gary,
De
this is
Niro
an
have a
interesting one to
problem?
ask you because The Day the Clown Cried, I believe, is the movie that Mack's talking about.
Right.
That's not been seen. It's supposed to be a clown that's entertaining children that are in the concentration camps. He hated the movie. It's been really shelved, and they're saying that it may be released now with his passing.
Oh, Juan-Juan. It was a comedy about Auschwitz. Okay, now, sometimes when they pitch ideas, they
What
probably
about
should.
the comedy about a concentration camp?
Yeah, that's all. Hey, they did it at Hogan's Heroes, right, for about 8 years. Imagine that pitch meeting. Gary, imagine that they sit down with these guys.
There's this concentration camp.
Yeah, right.
Well,
really
Hogan's Heroes
concentration
was not a concentration camp. It was a POW camp.
POW
There's a
camp.
big
Okay.
difference.
That's true.
Big
Okay.
difference.
Yeah. This is
Did
POW
you- well, the
camp.
guys probably said a concentration camp. No, a POW camp.
Let's
Okay?
tone it down a little bit.
And every
POW
Nazi
camp.
in it is so freaking stupid. It's unbelievable that he gets up and walks every morning. Especially the guy who runs the place. And the prisoners run the camp.
You got Colonel Klemp and then this Sergeant Schultz guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, who sees
I
nothing.
do mention Billy Wilder, Star Like 17.
Yeah, that's where they took it from. Yeah. That's not a comedy, though. That's not a comedy, though, is it?
Oh, yeah.
They
yeah,
consider
was
it a comedy?
comedy. In fact, they based Hogan's Heroes from Star
Right.
Like 17.
Yeah. Hogan's Heroes.
William Holden won his only Oscar playing the...
It's a good movie. Peter Graves plays the Nazi. Peter Graves is the Nazi, and boy, does he get his in the end. It's a really good movie. William Holden's really good.
Gary, what's your take on the original producers? I think probably one of the great ones that was ever put together.
Are you talking about the Mel Brooks, the producer?
No. Yeah, Mel Brooks as the director and Zora Mostel in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Gene Wilder. We should just remind everyone we're talking.
Who could carry a movie where they're going to do a musical about Hitler?
It's springtime.
While they're trying to can the whole play thing, it turns out to be successful. I mean, it's a riot as a whole cultural slam on the whole theater crowd. Don't you agree?
Yes, I just have to inject that we're talking to Gary Olsen, who is the author of the 15 Geniuses of the Silver Screen. We're talking
behind the lenses.
Behind the lens. Okay, all right.
Get it right for Christ.
Well, it's okay, and he's on justifying his Emerson College education. Gary, how long did it take?
No, I was going to go back to the Nazi thing. The guy that really went on the limb was Charlie Chaplin in The Great Dictator.
Oh yeah, funny.
Oh God,
yeah. And he made that right before the United States entered World War II.
Yep.
But already that England was embroiled in the war with Nazi Germany. So, and he played a takeoff on Hitler.
Yep.
And Jackie Oakey played Mussolini. So.
Who played Mussolini?
Jackie Oakey.
Oh, Jackie Oakey, Juan-Juan. Remember him?
No.
So,
okay.
Gary, how about Kubrick in 2001?
Yeah, let's.
2001.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How about Kubrick? Just starting off. Okay, 2001. He reinvented the science fiction movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he really had a passion about science fiction movies, and he never made one until 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of prior to that, science fiction movies were pretty much hokey and on the stage set they were low budgeted, and he wanted to blow the doors out as far as the production of a science fiction movie.
Right.
Got together with Arthur C. Clarke and devised the script, and he just revolutionized science fiction movies as we know today.
Now, you made a remark that, Gary, kind of caught my attention. I remember, because I'm not a benefit of classical education as you two gentlemen are in the hallowed halls of higher education. I was a movie officer on 6 years of sea duty for most of it. So that's where I kind of got mine.
And so
in
was
the hard
Juan-Juan.
knocks.
That's right.
Hard knocks of
And
movie
what a coincidence
filming.
that both of you were assigned to watch the films. I mean, not just watch them, but repair
No,
them. And
I had to put them together. I had to make sure that they were
So did
prepared. You ship them back out.
Juan-Juan,
So it's similar paths, that took us to it. Of course, Juan-Juan did his from the beach.
see how
I
he-
did mine
The
underway.
beaches
Wow.
of Newport, yeah.
A2, CC, A2.
That's right. Working,
But my
working in
question
the
there is,
motion
you
picture
made a remark
projection
about science
studio.
fiction. Science fiction movies in the 50s is when they got tired of making war movies, right? They needed something that was matching the cultural changes in the 50s and 60s, right?
Scare people out there, you bet.
Well, also, I think, late 40s, they started sighting UFOs, and they were questioning, well, there may be other aliens, life out there. So that's what kind of spurred the science fiction movies.
Well, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, if you watch that, it's like a propaganda film for...
Oh, that was completely
Joe
controlled by
McCarthy.
the government as an anti-communism
Yeah.
movie. That
Right, yeah.
Listen, so going back to Kubrick, and, I tell Juan every week that I went to film school, as you know.
And I love it.
And I wrote
would
my
love to have gone.
dissertation on Stanley Kubrick. All right, dissertation is
You did?
Yes, that very, very long term paper they make you write before you get out of
Woo!
college.
Boy, of all the directors.
Yeah. So he took up a big part of that, and interesting guy. Okay, he would not make just any movie. All right, he did a lot of Paths of Glory. If you ever saw that, if you could sit
probably
through that
one of the
once.
best movies ever made.
Oh my
Totally
God!
not respected.
Yeah, right. Just an incredible movie. Okay, Dr. Strangelove, one of the best movies ever made. And
That has everything. It's
No
got
one's gonna
the
top it.
military side of it, science fiction, the
Yep.
whole political thing. It's an absolute right, and the actors that he had arrayed in there,
Yep.
outstanding.
I remember
just
seeing it when it came out, and it captured what was going on back then. We thought we were going to get nuked any day now, and same with the Russians, really depths of the Cold War. And it was
Forgot about
it just
Spartacus.
turned it on its head, it just, oh, man, great movie.
My favorite, Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we know that. We
I
had to
keep
bring
going
that
back
one
to
up.
that.
How about Spartacus before we get the eyes wide shut?
I
Barry had
can't
mentioned
watch
that.
it. If Eileen comes down and says, "What are you watching? You watching that porno movie with?" I said, "It's part of my Nicole Kidman
Wow.
extravaganza. Anything Nicole Kidman, I'm all over it." It's not about
Does Tom know
her
this?
being naked in the movie. Or
Does
anything.
Tom Brady know? Okay.
Yeah.
Eyes
Tom-
Wide Shut.
yeah.
I saw it.
It was stupid.
The thing that really gets the music. Anytime I hear that music, like in a commercial or something, I go, "Wow, it's that movie." Okay. Someone told me that if you watch it, it's a little piece of all of his movies because he knew it was his last movie.
Yeah.
If you want to sit and analyze that for, too friggin'
There's a lot of The Shining in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, everything. He's like an homage to himself. Okay, so, but when he did 2001, Strange was a little bit science fiction. He did 2001. He did stuff. He made it almost seem real. He had like space stations in orbit, right, guy? Wasn't it like a Howard Johnson space station, and so on?
It was.
It was the space flight. Pan Am was the folks that
Pan
were flying
Am.
the space,
Yep.
the regular scheduled service between the moon and the Earth,
Yes.
and the space station.
Yep. And it was almost
Not
like
many, not many people know this. Remember the ape man? He's smashing the
Yes.
skulls, and
Moonwatcher.
he throws out the bone. That's like the first weapon of mankind. So he throws out the bone.
the bone.
They do that famous jump cut to what everybody thinks is just a regular satellite. And
Yep.
It turns out that those are nuclear weapons, several of them circling the Earth. And hardly anybody knows that, but the weapon from the caveman turns out to be the weapons in outer space that man had thrown up there.
Oh.
And the original ending that Kubrick thought of was that all these nuclear spaceships were going to destroy the world.
Wow.
But then he said, well, Dr. Strangelove, I already did that with the nuclear bombs at the end, so I don't want to duplicate it. So
That.
And I'll tell you, there's a great parody that was done by Monty Python, where in one of their animations of that scene, and they actually do capture that when the bone goes up, it being the spaceship. It's pretty funny.
We will edit that out later. The bone goes up. Wow.
still
Okay.
there.
And
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just waiting
Followed
to
by a
hear,
pregnant
how I
pause.
offended somebody trying to talk about movies. I obviously just don't have. I don't have the right credentials. I don't have enough degrees to
All
add.
right, let's move on.
we're
Let's move on.
talking to
Full Metal Jacket.
Juan-Juan is the voice of
Full
reason.
Metal Jacket.
Okay, we're talking to Gary Olsen, author of 15 Geniuses of the Silver Screen.
It's a great book. I
No,
just
no,
bought
no.
it. I just
What?
bought it
What?
online.
15.
Being
Juan-Juan just
genius
bought it.
is behind the lens.
Behind the lens.
Okay, all right. 15
How the
Geniuses.
greatest film directors shape the movies we see today. Olsen, Olsen. The book's on Amazon.com.
Type in
Wow.
Olsen, that book comes right up.
He must.
Yep. 340 pages worth.
Yep.
Thanks for my my copy, by the way. Thanks for my mention. You know, but you didn't spell my name right. You know that.
All right, okay.
Anyway, so all right, let's go to Full Metal Jacket, which I did not like. I thought after that, he did Barry Lyndon. Ever see that movie?
Yep.
Ever see that, Gio?
Mhm.
It's like 3.5 hours long. It has Ryan O'Neal in it. So you think
Right.
strike one, strike two. It's a really good
I was
movie.
thinking Love Story.
Yeah, but it's like it's like Gone with the Wind of middle England, 1780.
Well, Kubrick had a passion with Napoleon, and he spent years researching Napoleon.
Okay, yeah.
And it was, I think, mid-'60s, and all of a sudden they came up with a couple of War and Peace, and there was another movie about that particular time period. They both failed, and his proposals were knocked down. So,
Wow.
but he always loved that time era, and that was Barry Lyndon came out of that.
Yeah. It's you have to set aside some time to see it, but it's a really good. It carries for 3 hours, and it's shot all these like really weird ways. Like at night, if someone is in a house, it's shot like it's supposed to be the 1780s somewhere.
Right.
And they lit the houses by candlelight. Well, he filmed by candlelight, so it was just like what it was, being in a house at 8 o'clock at night. In one of these homes, and
Yeah.
he did all kinds of stuff like that, And I just remember saying, "Wow, he hired Ryan O'Neal to star in this movie." I avoided it. Then I finally saw it. It's really good.
I'll have to put on my list.
Gary, who's your all right? Full Metal Jacket. Let's get to that. Okay. Once again, that's when I thought he started losing his mojo a little bit because
Really? Why?
because first of all, you don't cast that guy who was in it. That was the miscast.
Lee Emery?
No, not him. The guy, the lead guy, guy. He's,
Donofrio?
no, the guy who
The guy who became the journalist.
the guy. He walks through it like he's in the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
I forget his name. Okay, he's kind of like. The guy you hire when like 4 or 5 other actors have turned you down, you go to him.
Okay.
Matthew something.
Yeah.
Matthew, Luke, and John. You should know this, Gio. You're the expert. Matthew Slater.
Matthew Modine.
Matthew Modine, right?
Yeah.
Once anyway. So he's like it's like he's in the Boy Scouts. Okay, number 2, it offended me that they would have like this urban warfare in Vietnam. It happened once or twice, right, Cobra?
Well, the Battle.
Oh, no, there was a lot of urban
warfare. That's what it was, the Battle of Hue during the Tet Offensive. That's what it was all about.
I disagree with you. It's 2 movies that should have been not made into one.
There you go.
He should have made them as 2 separate films.
Thank you, Cobra.
But I do think it's actually a pretty good movie because it does reflect right up to 1968 in Tet, which it's interesting that we're talking about that because it's the anniversary that's coming up very close
50 years.
in another month.
50 years.
50 years. The whole breakdown of discipline he captured pretty well because even that going sideways in boot camp at Paris Island, and then what happens, of course, when they get to Vietnam and the whole thing does reflect that period pretty well. And I thought the cinematography that he did in that was some of his best. When you look at the way he cut some of those scenes, I think he did borrow pretty heavily from Coppola, who used 16 millimeter when he shot all the stuff for Apocalypse Now. I think most people have tried to copy what he's done in that movie for anything that's set in jungle warfare. But I'd have to give him a little bit higher mark, but it really needed to be separated into 2 movies, in my opinion.
Right.
Kubrick had a fear of flying, so that's why you really don't see a tropical scene in the second half of that movie. That was shot in a abandoned gasworks plant in England. just off the coast,
really?
just outside of London.
See, that's,
Right.
that's like, for me, that's like copping out in a Vietnam movie, okay? A lot, and the majority of fighting that was done in the jungles and stuff in Vietnam. That's what made it so freaking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna make a Vietnam movie, they got to be fighting in the jungle. They can't be fighting in a city.
With the period that he picked, Mac, is fairly accurate for what had gone on.
Yeah, I know. It could be back. Hey, but
And that's why I think
he's a great director.
Coppola's adaptation of Heart of Darkness to the Vietnam scene. Is just, I mean, and the photography he did in that is just, and what actor, Gary, is in both of those movies, Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket? Name one actor it's in both of those movies.
Whoa, that's a trivia.
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
He had a TV show. I'll give you a big hint. He had a TV show for a while, and he did some interesting commercials for an insurance company.
Paul Lind.
Paul Lind.
Wasn't
that would be Gunny, the Marine. He's the drill instructor, and he's also got his first break. Coppola found him in Okinawa.
He was in that movie, yeah?
Yeah, he's the helicopter pilot in the Loach, or the Little Bird.
Are you talking about Lee Emery, that guy?
Yep, he sure is.
Now he has his own show on...
Lee Emery was just a tech advisor, and they did a bunch of auditions for the drill instructors, and then really cut the cake, and all of a sudden Emery just blocked orders to Kubrick during the viewing sessions, the auditions, to get down on the floor and do some push-ups. Kubrick automatically did because Emery's voice was just so persuasive.
Oh, he is it. Yeah, he's the embodiment.
Yeah, he said, okay.
Was he a real drill instructor at one point, or was that?
He is a real Marine. He was honorarily raised to the rank. Yeah. He was medically separated from the Marine Corps, and he was living in Okinawa when he met Kubrick and signed on as a tech guy, and then he did the voices in the helicopter of the attack.
Wow.
It's the famous beach scene where they come in, and you'll hear his voice. He's in the little helicopter in the front. And you'll see some shots of him. Why he's not a pilot, but he's in the pilot role in that movie. What a guy! He's a very interesting guy. And
during the filming of Full Metal Jacket, he gets in a Jeep accident, and his ribs. He broke several ribs.
Wow. That's why he looks so hunked up at the.
That's method.
Yeah, if you notice his left arm. In later scenes, he does not wave that arm at all. So you can see a crippled Lee Emery just in that movie.
His face, though, shows the pain really well, and you can't tell if it's because he's just sadistic in his job or he loves his job or what it is, but he claims that his physical pain actually made his role a little bit better.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, some guys are into that stuff.
Now, there's one other guy I wanted to bring up, and that's Leon Vitali, the right-hand man that got so little credit out of Kubrick's life. Any input on him? Was he his trainer? No, he was like the assistant that did everything. He was the guy.
I saw a little documentary on that guy, and boy, he got abused by Kubrick.
I just absolutely. It really changed my opinion of Kubrick when I saw the guy's movie and then read some stuff about him. He really just did not treat him nicely, and he was critical to the success of Kubrick. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, behind every great man
wasn't the nicest guy in the world. He did abuse his actors and actresses. Yeah. Shelley Duvall and The Shining. She practically had a nervous breakdown working for him.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Nicholson, no problems whatsoever.
Juan-Juan is raising his hand here.
Oh, I was just thinking, look at what's going down today in the world of television and film with all these abuse cases.
Yes.
They want to go
I don't think this is a kind of a sexual abuse.
Yeah,
this
I know.
Is just a kind of mental abuse.
But the Me Too crowd will be saying, would say abuse is abuse.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Hashtag.
He was such a perfectionist. Strother Crothers, the guy in The Shining.
Scatman Crothers.
Yeah.
Scatman, thank you very much. 146 takes. And about the 100th take, Crothers goes, "What do you want from me, Stanley?" Crying his eyes off.
Yeah, that was that scene where he
kept
has
going.
A horror face. Yeah.
Yeah, and Crothers, his next movies was with Clint Eastwood, and he did one take, and Eastwood, who's known for being director goes, "That's great, fine, that's a wrap."
That's why his
His brother
movies
starts
suck.
crying. He goes, "That's it." He couldn't believe tears of joy. He said, "Boy, I think we're going to send me
Clint East-
146 takes."
Yeah, but Clint Eastwood would put anything in a movie, and that proves it. But listen, we only have like
now you're putting down Clint Eastwood?
He's
I got
awful.
one.
I love
quick
Clint
one to
Eastwood.
throw in there, Mac.
Yes, go ahead, please. We get like 22
It's the 200th anniversary of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I'd like to hear Gary's take on what that book meant to science fiction in general going into the movies.
Okay, you're cutting into Switchblade's time, but go ahead, please.
Good
Gary.
question.
I mean, I haven't. He wasn't one. Browning was one of my. I did not do his portrayal, but of course, But what, 1931 with Boris Karloff with the movie?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you're asking about.
Well, I wanted
first
The
time.
literary genre of
I mean, don't you think that book, coming up on its 200th anniversary, is absolutely one of the cornerstones that established what was going to be in theatrical films of the horror and science fiction styling?
I would almost, that was what...
You can say no, Gary. It's okay. You don't have...
No, there were three authors. There was Percy and Percy Shelley and the wife and another guy. I don't know who it was. They all came out with three novels, or three works, and the third guy did a vampire novel. And my contention is that would be far more influential in movies and science fiction movies and horror movies. And
Talking about Bram Stoker?
Frankenstein.
Yeah. In other words, listen, we gotta go. We gotta go. Hey, Gio,
Knock it off.
is there any chance that your lovely bride would get on for like just a minute?
Hey, Jan? She's upstairs. She's
So
not
what?
available.
So it's a chance to be on the radio. 500,000 listeners.
Hey, she's watching the pre Super Bowl highlights.
Oh,
of,
wow.
the
Okay,
interviews
do
that
not
they did in
disturb
the
her.
past couple of days.
Do not disturb her.
Yeah, we get that on the TV. What channels?
Oh, they're down in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I just sorry. documentary-
ESPN, wall-to-wall coverage
Okay.
of the Super Bowl.
They don't get sports channels here. Pistol Pete told us as he's going up the
Uh,
hill. Anyway, hey, thank you,
all right.
Gary, for joining us.
No,
Plug the book again.
Don't forget, plug my book again.
You plug it.
I just ordered
15
it.
Geniuses Behind the Lens.
Let's see, you're stepping over
Gary
your own
Olsen,
cue.
Olsen at Amazon.com.
Say it again.
I did.
No, say it again because we were all over the plug.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Go.
The 15 Geniuses Behind the Lens by Gary Olsen, Olsen at Amazon.com.
Right. And hey, we had a lot of fun. This is the longest segment we've ever done on the show, so we had a lot of fun talking.
We could do a
about-
whole show.
Oh, by the
on
way,
this.
if anybody up in New England wants to have me give a lecture, just www.filmlectures.com,
Oh.
and I will run up there and give a lecture.
Wow. Okay. And he'll run up here and give that. She won't. Do
I
that.
wanted to
I
ask
will
him how he
give me an
got from
excuse to
the.
visit relatives and friends up there.
Okay. Tax deduction. Good.
How did he get from being in the FBI to being?
That's
You're not supposed to
the film-
mention the agency.
That,
Yeah,
Sorry, cut that
You're not
out.
I
helping
used to
books
do
sell.
this
Another
I'll
show.
tell you that.
and training tapes and
Wow.
case studies
Okay.
via video.
Was that
training
always?
tapes.
So that was always an interest you had.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
very
Okay.
much.
Can't you
Yeah.
tell? Thank you, Gary, for joining us. And
You're welcome.
and
Mac.
everyone go out and buy the book. And come on again real soon. We'll just do an hour on why Quentin Tarantino is like a crappy director. All right? You in?
Well, we got to do Spielberg. Don't forget.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we'll do it. It'll be 2 for 1.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
There he
right.
goes. The big O.
Thanks, guys. It was great talking to you.
The big O.
Thank
Good
Gary
show.
Olsen.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Did he say
Wow.
he was the only guy on Amazon so you could go to Gary Olsen?
I just typed in
Gary
Gary
Olsen.
Olsen and the book came right up.
Olsen.
Right.
So hey, listen, we're long overdue for a commercial break. So why don't we take an ad right now, and we'll be back right after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Track Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Mill Track Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. And this is Mack Maloney. We've had a very interesting shoe, and it's not even over. This is our Super Bowl special extravaganza, I guess, as they say in the biz.
Hopefully the listeners won't think that it should be over.
That voice. Okay. That voice you hear is a very famous Juan-Juan, coming in
yes.
soft, as they
Yes.
say in the biz.
Got my soft rock voice on.
Okay. Okay, and he's so excited about the Patriots that I predict he's going to dance in future or past segments of the show.
That's right. I should have brought in my finger meter that measures your oxygen level and your pulse.
Yeah, to see how excited you get during the show. Very interesting.
That's right. I should have brought it to write down some readings as the show progressed, because
that might come into play during contract negotiations. Just how excited was he?
How excited every time you mention Tom Brady.
There you go. Goes off the meter. Goes into the red.
It goes insane.
Anyway, Juan-Juan's here, and also for one segment in a row, not stomping on his cue. They call him Coco. Stopping, stepping, stomping. They call him Coco on the street, but it's Commander Cobra.
Just tell me when they drop the mic.
That ship has sailed there, my friend. Joining us from the compound way up there in the Great White North. And
why do you have to make it so racial? Can't you just say
it wasn't racial? I know, he's just begging for it.
I know it.
Anyway, and on the phone with us now is two of our favorite people in the whole world. Switchblade Steve Ward.
Howdy.
Up there in Battle Creek. I know he was waiting for me to say that, the bowl of flakes. How's things up there these days? How are the Cheerios?
That's General Mills.
Oh, okay. All right. How are the
Cheerios get soggy very quickly.
They do.
That's what she said.
Else.
Listen,
you got to eat them fast.
I'm going to say Frosted Flakes, and now I got to go and stop on the way home to get the family pack and eat it.
You just eat it right out of the box.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what was good about Frosted Flakes.
Super Bowl snack.
It was like candy. And yeah, this is our Super Bowl show, so I guess we have to talk about our favorite Super Bowl snacks. For you, it's Frosted Flakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's safe.
Yeah.
We should get some corn there,
Yeah, if you get a good dental plan, it's great.
I have a good dental plan.
It's great. See what I did there?
It is. It's great.
Anyway. And also, Emily Mittermeier joining us, I'm assuming, from Cincinnati. Is that right?
That is correct.
So what do you have, a bath running there?
I think she was. It sounds like the toilet just flushed.
Oh, don't say that. No,
what are you doing?
I think that was me. I was muted.
You were?
Why do you have to go
Oh, maybe
there?
it's Cobra. Cobra's rearranging the furniture in his...
What image you want in your mind?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cobra was muted as well. So,
lucky you.
Then it's Steve.
Okay.
No, I wasn't muted, but it was coming from somewhere else.
Okay.
Really? It sounded like somebody was sliding a couch across the
It might have been those
floor.
Cheerios getting soggy. I don't know.
I saw warm water going into an old clawfoot tub with the bubbles.
I have a clawfoot tub. Okay. They're great. They're
anyway,
heavy.
Emily, you're in Cincinnati, the Queen City.
I am.
Okay. Yeah, there's no real fun there, right? It's not a real fun town, correct?
It is.
Oh,
I love it here.
I've been there. Anyway.
Apparently not to the right parts.
We went to every part. You know what the right part of Cincinnati is? Was it Covington, Kentucky, right over the river?
Oh, that is fun.
Yeah, okay, see, the best part of Cincinnati is actually in Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
That's funny.
Anyway.
I disagree, but it's still a good time over there.
Okay. Wow. I got to ask you this. So do you go over there? Do you prowl those bars?
I've, in my younger years, yes.
Oh, it doesn't do it
But
anymore.
I go over there occasionally.
Oh, really? Yeah? Can you tell us when you go next time?
She'll post some pictures on Facebook for you.
Good suggestion.
Yeah.
Juan-Juan.
I'm on it. She's
finally found me.
Yeah.
Wow. Apparently it took us long enough.
What an expert I am on Facebook. Lurking in the shadows of Facebook.
I think that was 6 or 7 weeks. It took.
I know.
Okay. That's okay. That's fast for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't let them get you down. Don't let them.
I can tell she has a good time with the girlfriends and the kids. There's something to that effect.
Oh, I see. Because you found her.
Yeah.
I see. And the pictures, that's
all kinds of cool pictures. And get very good time.
And
stuff.
do you have like a wing girl who, when you go out, it's like the female equivalent of a wingman?
My wing girls don't live nearby.
Oh. Is there such thing as a virtual wing girl?
It could be.
Sure. Why not?
Do you go out by yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I
Hey,
don't.
listen. Okay, so I overreached a little. So listen.
luckily, it was the first time.
Thank you, Coco. Wow. I'll tell you, he's getting an F for this show.
Yeah, he's really at it tonight.
Yes, it's an attitude problem. Got to get Dr. Lear on here again. Anyway, Em, I know you're going to be talking about a very interesting UFO case from the past. So, which one is it? What's the name of it? What's it about?
It was the UFO sighting in Korea in September 1950. I don't know that it had a name per se.
Mm-hmm. And I should know about this a little bit about it because I wrote about it in my book there, Juan-Juan. The book is yet to read. This is one of the most highly documented cases of UFOs in Korea. Actually, a pretty pivotal point when it comes to UFOs and UFO history. But one of the cool things about this, if I remember right, reading it, that the UFOs were like gigantic, right?
Yes. I think it said 700 feet in diameter.
There you go. That's a big UFO. Yeah. So tell us what happened.
Sure. So September 1950, over around North and South Korea, I guess it was sunrise one day, and there were 3 U.S. Navy attack planes that were on a mission to bomb a North Korean truck convoy that was riding through a valley about 100 miles south of the Chinese border. And so these planes came out. Each of them had 2 crew members, a pilot and a gunner. And as they were working to get fixed on the target, they saw on the ground, in the valley below them, I guess about 2 miles below them, they saw these 2 just enormous shadows on the ground. And upon looking up in front of them, they saw what was causing these shadows, and they were these 2 giant saucer-shaped crafts that were approaching. And the speed that they were approaching at was estimated to be about 1,200 miles per hour, which was, of course, much faster than any sort of military aircraft at that time. So just these enormous crafts approaching so quickly. They estimated them to be about 700 feet in diameter. And their natural reaction, of course, was to try to arm their guns and shoot at whatever these were. But their radar malfunctioned. So their radar was being jammed. I guess they kept trying to fix it and try to figure out what was wrong, get it to work. Nothing would work. The one plane tried to radio the other to see if they'd seen the same thing or what they were doing, and the radios wouldn't work. So there was nothing on board that was working to be able to combat whatever the aircraft were that were coming at them. And as these 2 saucers got close, they stopped abruptly in midair, like we hear so many UFOs doing, changed direction, and started flying above and below these jets, these Navy jets, like almost as if they were like inspecting them, watching them, just kind of circling around, and then abruptly turned direction again and sped off, and they were gone.
Okay. So 800 feet long. Okay, so that is almost a football field, correct?
Well, 300 feet is a football field.
300 feet. Okay, so it's 3 football fields long.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm a product of the Boston school system.
I'm surprised Cobra didn't cut in Mr. Math.
Yeah, right. Did we do those?
I think it was 2 1/3, so it's 700 feet.
So
okay.
Yeah,
right.
you know.
2 1/3. Still, that's a big flying saucer.
Let me get my abacus.
They're really big.
Right. And if I remember right, they kind of maneuvered without effortless.
Oh, crap. I left my abacus at home. I got my slide ruler
Interesting thing about that size, it's very close to the size of the ship that most of those naval aviators would have been operating from.
Ooh, that's a good point.
And I find it interesting that it's naval aviators, once again, in the big disclosure in December. Seems to be a trend here.
And I heard not too long ago, well, a few years ago, that even though the 8th Air Force in Europe has released all their records on Foo Fighters, what they call the Foo Fighters, not much, really. The Navy never did. Navy never revealed its records on Foo Fighters in the Pacific. So it's somewhere, I guess. Yeah, Navy's kind of like, I don't know, they're a little bit apart from themselves. They're not an equal. I don't look at them as being equal in a way. I always think of the Navy as being the biggest service. They're the ones who really kind of push stuff through the admirals and stuff. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right.
Anyway, where we go here?
I don't know.
We're down in Kentucky. So that's a interesting case in Korea. Korea, once again, is pivotal in UFO history because right before, like in the late 40s, when they had various U.S. government agencies looking into what UFOs were, doing kind of like really scientific research, and one of them went to the Air Force and said, these things are not from this planet. That was their conclusion, and the Pentagon said,
we can't say that.
You can't say that. That is not the conclusion we wanted you to come to. So 6 months later, they come back, and there's a famous quote, and they said that they determined that anyone who sees a UFO is either a religious fanatic or they have
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Or
a nut.
And one other kind of, weird thing. They're
delusional.
Delusional, something exactly like that, right? So then all of a sudden, boom, the Korean War hits. All of a sudden, their pilots are seeing UFOs. So they're stuck in this position of having to say their pilots are delusional or religious nuts or crazy, So that's when they said someone has to at least make it look like we're looking into this, and that's when Project Blue Book started, really, So the Korean War, and also the Korean War was the first war where you could catch them on radar on the ground, you could catch them on radar from ships, and the airplanes had radar in them too, so you'd actually have three sources of, picking up UFOs other than visual. So anyway... I'm
surprised the radar wasn't jammed at the time,
Well,
everything else
a lot of times you hear the stuff goes off, right, you know, so... in fact, you hear that a lot in Cobra. I mean, is it possible for everything to go off in an airplane and you're still flying?
Yeah, especially that time period, because most of the flight controls were still mechanically linked. They weren't electronically controlled. Now, more aircraft don't have mechanical linkage that actually connects the control input of the stick and the throttle. It's done by electronic or electrical lines, or even in the case of fiber optics in some aircraft. So yeah, it's very capable and it's very possible. And that time period, they didn't do a lot of talking on radios. A lot of it, most of my flying in the Cold War leading up to the 90s, most of it we practiced radio out. So you practiced flying and not talking. Everything was pre-planned. So it's not surprising that happened. And I would like to note, you bring up a good point, Mac, in the Tic Tac December disclosure, they don't talk about any of those things happening.
Okay.
The classic, jamming and not being seen on radar, and the ship picked up the device, picked up the aerial phenomenon vehicle that was out.
Yes.
It's surprising that would happen in previous cases, earlier cases. It wipes out everything.
Right. I just have to say that starting right now, I want to start a Fund Me campaign to put this show on TV. Because your little improv act there was...
Mine?
Yeah. It surely isn't mine because you don't have a camera on there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Put a camera on one, we'll call it Juan-Juan TV or something. That would have been worth the price of admission. Thank you, Juan-Juan, for cheering up my night.
We need to get him a YouTube channel. There's no doubt about it.
Anyway, so Switch.
Emma, you still with us?
Yeah.
I am.
Maybe now she's drawing about. So Switch, you've heard of this case, right? That Emily's talking.
Actually, I'm not. I'm sure I've read it one time or another, but I'd forgotten about it. Okay. The important thing about cases like this, the radar visual. You've got the visual sighting, and the radar confirmation.
Yes.
There have been some strange cases where they picked up anomalies on radar that seem like discs or UFOs, but nothing is seen visually.
Right.
But anyway, this is something where it's not just, you can't say, well, it's an illusion, it's a mirage, it's a sundog or whatever.
Right.
You've got the confirmation on radar.
Right.
Very important aspect.
Hey, listen, while you're on the line there, Switch, Switch is the man on the way up. Okay, he's been given. You were just interviewed for MUFON recently. Is that true?
Well, this weekend I was honored to speak to Michigan MUFON, which is not a symposium. This is the meeting. They have like a bi-monthly meeting.
Yes.
And so I was the speaker, and it was had a really good crowd there. They had a group in there from Flint, Michigan, and I guess Fox 17, a local Fox affiliate, was there, and I got interviewed along with Bill Konkoleski, who's the guy that has done an excellent job the last 10 years of running Michigan MUFON. Okay. And the cool thing was, the night before I was going through my notes and revamping everything, I got a message from the people that run the Butler Paranormal event on say April 28th coming up, and so I'll be speaking there as well.
Wow! Hey, you listen.
Steve's making it happen.
This goes beyond we knew him when.
That's right. He's going to be charging us some hefty fees.
Well, here's the interesting
thing. To be a get on the Mack Maloney Military X-Files show.
Here's the interesting thing. So Switch is getting all this attention, right? The light is shining on him, as they say, okay? And off here he says, can we tease my segment for next week? He's already using the lingo. You know what I mean? And that's what, there's no coming back.
Are you digging this, Emily? This is something that may break up the team at the
Emily is one of my biggest cheerleaders. Big supporter, and I don't mean cheerleader in a derogatory sense. I've never seen her pom-poms around or anything like that.
No. You probably don't want to put that thought in Juan-Juan's head.
It just conjured up the movie since we were talking about movies.
Yeah, okay.
I should never have gone there. I should have done that.
Cobra, why aren't you laughing?
Kevin Spacey.
Hopefully that's random.
In fact, Emily may be coming to the Butler Paranormal, and if so, we can do a nice joint report on the event.
Or I could report on your presentation.
It's going to be a revamped Mothman presentation. Some things deleted, some things added, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's right.
He's going all out.
May I ask, is Cobra still with us?
I am.
Yes, he is.
All right. No, I thought I heard you laughing in the background. Thank you. So, so Switch. So all of a sudden, now, how are you dealing with your fame? You know how it affected us. We had to go to a group therapist. But are you dealing with?
Well, I've had to chew out my makeup people, and
really?
My entourage. They follow me a little bit too closely, and it's very annoying.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, all right. We ourselves are celebrities.
He's always blowing the confetti off of his jacket.
Easy there, big guy. Easy. I know you're in the power drive there.
Juan-Juan.
Yes, sir.
We're celebrities in a way. You get presents through the mail.
That's right.
Right? Remember, and
give presents to the mail.
Wow.
I handle them with kid gloves.
There you go.
But truthfully, it's a lot of fun. This is the kind of, when you finally get to do the thing, even though it's not my livelihood per se,
yes.
Do the thing you love to do,
right,
and you're getting more opportunities. There's just nothing better than that. So I appreciate everything that's come my way, including little apple polishing here, this show. But this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, see, I was going to question him on that. I was going to
say, Thank you, Mac. How about that?
I was going to say, answer this question very carefully, Steve. So, are you wearing the shirt on these interviews, or?
What's that?
Well, we've seen him in enough pictures.
Okay, that's a good question. Okay. And during the talk, now I try to dress up a little bit, try and get rid of the Levi's and tennis shoes, But in the beginning of the show, beginning of the talk, Bill, I made sure he got in there the Mack Maloney's Military X-Files, and then at the very end, you see me promoting it again, but I'm there with my Mack Maloney X-Files T-shirt, gazing up at the majestic Mothman statue at the end of the last festival.
Yeah, nice.
And then for the very end, you see me looking at the literal rear end of the Mothman statue, wearing my Maloney's T-shirt. So,
wow,
you get a double whammy in there.
The rear end of the Mothman.
Yes.
Statue.
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that
which is a metaphor for the show. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, a metaphor for the conclusion of my talk, not for the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No tension here. No tension whatsoever.
Yeah.
Are you going to do another respin of the shirt so that the logo's on the front?
You're talking to the wrong person there, JJ.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Okay.
You're the boss.
I submitted a design.
Yeah.
And it didn't come back to me. It didn't bounce back to me the way that I bounced it to them. But I get nothing but compliments.
I really can't believe in the precious time we have left that we're attempting to open a can of whoop-ass on Commander Cobra, who has all the emails sending draft pictures to
I apologize. I didn't know you were involved in that.
Who else would it be?
I didn't know.
The Mack was at every level the director of that project.
I didn't know.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I really don't. Please.
Wow. Okay.
Mea culpa, mea culpa.
Juan-Juan's getting upset. Yep. He's getting the stigmata.
Sorry.
Mac, you don't remember the lengthy meetings and discussions and phone calls about how we were emulating a famous rock group that had this kind of design on the front of their shirt, and everyone wanted to know what it was.
And that should have been on the front.
That I didn't have the right orbits going on the back part of the Mack Maloney with the UFO. The inclination of the UFO, it didn't look right on the first 3 editions.
Wow. Who's he talking about? Who did all this?
This is another show.
Yes, it is.
I have a suggestion.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Okay. It's okay. But it is.
I have a great
suggestion.
Talk about airing your dirty laundry.
Right.
And we're actually literally talking about shirts.
Right. In front of.
Look, all we have to do is take the existing T-shirt and wear it backwards.
Right. Just pull the collar down a little bit so that doesn't feel weird, and you're right.
Yes.
Do a Belichick, cut the collar out, and then you'll look really good no matter how you wear it.
Yeah. How about that?
Good point. Make it the Belichick collar. Take a pair of scissors and just.
Let's just put a tie on. Anyway, so listen.
All right.
Juan-Juan, are we coming to the end here?
Emily, that was a great story.
Thank you, Emily.
Honest to God, that was great.
Sure.
It was.
Juan-Juan, are we coming to the end of the show?
700 feet.
You won't read.
These suckers were.
Yeah, that's almost 3 football fields. That's what you.
That's right.
Yeah. Are we at the end of the show there, Juan-Juan?
I think so. I'm looking at the time and I'm going,
Yeah, okay. All right. That must be my cue. Well, listen, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight on our Super Bowl extravaganza. Okay, thank you to Dribbles the Clown. Thank you to Gary Olsen. Thank you to our friend who predicted the Super Bowl score from 44 light years away.
We didn't ask our guests what
Teraak.
their
Can you guys
prediction
give us a prediction real quick? And I mean really, really quick.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles? What?
Remember, I never got the sports gene. I'm not even going to watch.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You should be a lawyer, not an actor. Anyway, thank you, Emily, for bringing us down. But why?
Anytime.
There's going to be an Eagles logo on her Facebook in a second here.
Yeah,
I'm going to make
so.
a comment on that.
Okay. All right. So Teraak, his prediction was 28-13.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, Teraak, for calling in from 44 light years away. Cobra, as always, thank you.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
M and Switcherino, thank you.
My pleasure. And stay tuned next week for the tease that we didn't get to.
Oh, that's right. Oh, quick. Do the tease in 10 seconds, please. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Cisco Grove, a bizarre alien abduction attempt, kind of like a retro attempt. You'll see what I mean when we get there next week.
All right, there you go. I'm teased. Consider us
Cisco
teased.
Grove. We do my homework.
Okay, and I want to say thank you for listening to all our fans out there, all our listeners. And we will be with you next week. And until then, please be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.